Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. All right, I love this. I see that the chat is already active. That's amazing. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to give it a few minutes before we get going, just because I do know that we have people joining us from all across the globe. So all time zones representative today. So thank you all for bearing with us as we give folks a few minutes to check in. But, I'm joining you guys from the United States here in Birmingham, Alabama. It has been pretty rainy, a little dreary today. So I would love to see how the weather's going for you guys. I just launched a poll in that chat. So just, let us know how things are going. Is it hot where you're at? Is it cold? Is it just right, easy breezy? Or is it rainy and gray like it is here in Birmingham? All right. Yeah, and as you're adding your response to this poll, feel free to drop in the chat where you're joining us from. We'd love to see how far Plann has reached across the globe. So, take an opportunity to tell us where you're joining from and maybe even what time of day it is. If it's morning, afternoon, evening, anything like that. Because obviously with us representing all of these time zones, there's no telling. So whatever time you're joining us in, thank you for being here. All right, but it's looking like it's pretty hot for this group. So y'all stay cool today and make sure that you got a little personal fan nearby. Well, obviously today's webinar is all about the Instagram algorithm, and as most of us know, it changes pretty frequently, and it's complicated to stay up to date with those changes. And after hearing from so many folks about their struggles with engagement around the algorithm, we decided let's have this webinar. So I'm curious, how's your engagement been lately? I just launched another poll. I would love to see how things are going for you on your end, if the algorithm is making any difference for you. Because, obviously that's a really crucial component to, reaching the audience members that you need in order to grow your small business. Okay, ultimately, looks like we're middle of the run for the most part. Also, here's another. Not bad, not great. Okay, absolutely terrible. Hey, I feel you. I've been there. And it seems like it changes. Well, so ultimately it looks like everyone's in a pretty neutral state right now. So that's good news. And so after today's webinar, hopefully you'll feel, a lot better about increasing those engagement rates across your platform. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Folks will be trickling in and we've got a few slides to get through. So I am going to share my screen in just a moment. All right. So hopefully now you can see another version of Tyler on the screen there. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to run through the first few slides here, and this is an interactive webinar, so take advantage of the chat to drop your questions, drop comments if things are going well. If you have further questions, we're going to have a live Q&A at the end. So hang on to those as you share them as well, because I'd love to answer them directly. But today's webinar is Mastering the Instagram Algorithm to Grow Your Small Business. So what we're going to talk about today is what actually is an algorithm, because we hear that word so often. It'll be helpful for you to understand what it actually is. Also, how Instagram uses algorithms to rank our content across the platform. We're also going to discuss the different types of algorithms that are present on Instagram today, as well as different hacks so that you can boost that engagement that we were just talking about. And then we're going to, throw in a few things that show you how Plann can help you along the way. So hang in with us today, and hopefully you'll get something really beneficial out of today's webinar. But first, I want to introduce myself because I know I'm meeting a whole bunch of people for the first time today. And again, thank you for being here. It's such a pleasure to be able to walk you through this. But I'm Tyler, and ultimately, I am just here to help small businesses, creators, and solopreneurs just like all of you. Ultimately, my goal is just to help you strategize your marketing, because my experience has allowed me to work with a lot of small business owners, and I really do know how hard it is to stay on top of creating content, and being active on social media, all while also having to focus on growing your small business and staffing and, the paperwork and the inventory and producing a product. So I'm really, engaged with small business owners, their pain points, and I'm really excited to be able to help y'all today. So before we really get into things, let's talk about what you're going to need for today's webinar. So we will be focusing on the Plann desktop. And it'll also be really helpful if you have the Plann app downloaded. You can access that for free in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And then obviously we'll be focused on Instagram. So having Instagram readily, available is not going to be a bad idea. But today's focus is going to be on Instagram and the Plann desktop, just to reiterate. If you don't already have a Plann account, you can sign up as we get through these first few slides at the URL that you see on the screen, plannthat.com/register. And then also make sure that you have a connected Instagram account to your Plann account. And you'll want that for auto posting, but feel free to do that later on. But that's going to be a really crucial point to make today's webinar more valuable for you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the nitty-gritty of Instagram algorithms. So what exactly is an algorithm? Well, the Instagram algorithm honestly is just a set of rules that helps the platform, helps Instagram rank the content that we share and that others share for disparate distribution across the platform and where and how it should be displayed. And that's really all that it is. Like this little GIF, those rules aren't real, but they actually are very real and they're really crucial to growing your small business. So the way that Instagram uses algorithms is another important thing to understand. So the algorithm determines what type of content is being shared. So is it a video? Is it a GIF? Is it a static image, a carousel? Does it have engagement stickers? All of these types of things is what the algorithms that are there exist for. So Instagram can, kind of prioritize and categorize the content, the massive amounts of content that are being shared across that platform. It also helps gauge users' individual interest in content or in the content that you're sharing. So to make sure that that piece of content shows up to the right audience, and then also where it should be displayed around the globe. So obviously, as I mentioned earlier, we've got folks joining all over these time zones. And so something that I post here in Birmingham, Alabama might not be as relevant to an Australian audience, depending on the time of day. So that's another really great thing that the algorithm exists for. So, make sure that you kind of, category these things in the back of your head every time that you're thinking about your next post or your weekly schedule for social. But I also want to walk you through why mastering the algorithm is actually good for your business. So the oversight or the overarching thing is that it actually does help you grow. So ultimately, the algorithm, makes a more pleasurable experience for all of us on Instagram because it prioritizes the types of content that we have previously engaged with, as well as the content that we might want to engage with. It also helps us optimize our content to make sure that it does end up in front of the audiences that we want it to. And then it also gives you the opportunity to display your content to new followers all around the globe. So the algorithm does actually help you connect with, new audience members, new followers, which typically means new customers and more sales. So mastering the algorithm is actually a really beneficial key for growing your small business online. But let's also talk about the different types of algorithms that are present on Instagram today. So the 4 types of algorithms on Instagram are feed post, story post, or the stories algorithm, the reels algorithm, and the explore algorithm. So what's important to know about the feed post algorithm is that this is what is used to kind of chronological or, as it seems, kind of randomly disperse content along our main feed. The stories algorithm prioritizes like what it's called, the stories algorithm. So it prioritizes those stories at the top of our Instagram feeds to make sure that, we see what's most relevant to us any given day of the week. And then the Reels algorithm actually runs through a different type of, like a different set of rules to focus on different, the quality features of Reels, where it should be located, and if it's like trending or relevant. And then the Explore algorithm is, the Explore page is where we find new to us content. So the Explore algorithm basically picks up high performing content across like the feed and the Reels feed to display that new to you content to users that might find it beneficial. Now, if you are focused on your feed, stories, and Reels and optimizing those, you don't really have to pay too much attention to that Explore algorithm, because if the other three components are really working well, then you have higher odds of actually having your brand or your business or your profile show up on that Explore page. So let's run through some ways to make each of these algorithms work in your favor, because obviously with 4 different ones, there are a few things to take into consideration because they are 4 separate and different sets of rules that Instagram uses to distribute content. So for the feed and stories algorithm, the really important thing to understand is that those 2 algorithms primarily exist off of commentary. So making sure that your users or your audience members and followers are actually engaging with the content that you're sharing. They're commenting, you're commenting, and it's, keeping this ongoing traction of interest across, your entire audience. And there are some, little tools and ways that you can hack that. On your stories, you can use engagement stickers that encourage commentary. You can even put up a post that directly asks a question, just a simple static graphic that asks a simple question and encourages your audience members, to respond. The other component that it considers is responsiveness. So obviously, like I just mentioned, commentary is super important, but the responsiveness factor is because these algorithms feed off of the conversations that you create with your audience. So if someone comments or asks a question, it's really important that you get back to that comment or question in a timely manner. We typically recommend within 3 to 12 hours is a pretty, solid break of time where you can hopefully pop into your Instagram and respond, or you can manage all of those responses from Plann directly. So, you've got a good block of time so that you can keep that conversation rolling. It also focuses on consistency. So a quick reshare on your stories, or a short, cut reel, 5 seconds or 3 to 5 second reels, or just something basic will really go a long way with showcasing to the algorithm that you're an active user on Instagram and you're constantly trying to provide value to your audience. And before I keep going, I do want to mention, if you do have questions throughout today's webinar, feel free to drop those in the chat. Like I mentioned, I have teammates all throughout that chat ready to, answer in real time, as well as provide links to helpful articles around whatever your question might be. And then again, we'll take advantage of that Q&A at the end. So moving on, let's talk about the Reels algorithm. So the Reels algorithm considers relevancy first and foremost. So it typically will optimize content that is, on top of trends or using trending audio, or it's an original content piece or an original sound or original audio file that's actually picking up a lot of attention and getting a lot of other users engaged. If you notice that that's happening, obviously keep up that conversation element, and the algorithm will typically, rank your content a little bit higher and distribute it to more users so that more folks see that hard work content that you've produced. But don't get discouraged if that doesn't happen soon. Typically, you might have to wait up to 6 weeks, I think is what the studies are saying, to see actual results from the reel that you've posted. So leave it up for, a good chunk of weeks and see how it's performing, and then, optimize and see if you can make it a little poppier or find a better trend to really hop on and make niche specific. It also looks at the frequency of how often you post reels. So like everything else on Instagram, frequency is huge. Your activeness, your consistency, how much are you showing up for your audience? And the algorithm pays attention to that. So it's really helpful if you create a consistent routine for your week so that your content stays, organized, you're on top of it, and that it's also easily recognizable amongst your audience. So make sure that you're keeping up a good level of frequency, and we'll talk about that in just a second. It also takes into account format. So video quality and like clarity, legibility, all of that's really important for the Reels algorithm. So making sure that, you've optimized the clarity on your video the best that you can. And we have tons of blogs on our website that talk about how you can, work your camera angles and make a better shot. So feel free to check those out in your free time, but also paying attention to aspect ratios. So it's, Instagram just recently released an update that says all videos are going to be presented as reels that are under 15 minutes. So with that, in mind, to be focusing on that 9:16 aspect ratio so that you can get the best results out of your reel. Now, if you post something outside of that aspect ratio and it's a video, it is still going to show up as a reel and it will still kind of feed into that reels feed on Instagram. However, it's not going to stop your video from posting, but for the best results, you're going to want to follow that 9:16 aspect ratio. But yeah, just staying on top of those few little things for the Reels algorithm is actually going to help you see better results over time. So keep consistent and hang in there. But now let's talk about that consistency. So what does a consistency posting schedule look like? How often do you need to be focused on posting? So a good rule of thumb is just, every other day. So this is just results may vary like it says on the screen, and you'll, learn and change and evolve your strategy over time. But here's one that you can just give a whirl and see if it works for you. And, maybe you have better results on Thursdays. You can move that break and you can change the order of carousels and photos and reels and whatnot as you're also keeping a story kind of going. Or you can optimize your content type. So maybe your audience really just loves reels. So maybe you produce 4 reels a week. Maybe your audience resonates more with static images and beautiful flat lay, photography. Work on, producing really great stock photography. And then carousels are also really good for showcasing an entire experience to your audience in kind of a static photo or short form video way. So this is just one schedule. If you're focused on keeping up your consistency, that's going to help the algorithm obviously boost your awareness, but also, help you get into a good routine for maintaining that consistency. So give that schedule a try if you're really focusing on consistency. Now, we're also aware that a lot of our users are super focused on high scale and like rapid uphill growth, and that's totally okay as well. That does require a little bit more focus on your content production. So that's what this schedule would look more like. So again, those results aren't guaranteed. That is all dependent on individual accounts, how you engage, how you keep the conversation going. But ultimately, this is a good baseline schedule for you to, work your way up to, or, really try to optimize to work best for your profile. And yes, it's okay for you to take a break. You don't have to post every single day. It is, helpful if you do, but take some time for yourself if you need it, but make sure that your posts are scheduled for the week on Plann. So that way you can take that break without having to worry about your growth and your consistency dropping. But a high scale growth strategy or schedule is going to look more like heavier content pieces, like multiple carousels, more reels, as well as, keeping those traditional elements of Instagram still favorited by sharing static images. So again, give this a shot if this is what your priority is right now, and, optimize as you go along. And then outside of following those schedules, we also wanted to include a few other hacks that really help boost your engagement. So these are just 10 hacks. So making sure that your account is set to a business account. There are 3 types of accounts on Instagram. There's a personal account, there's a creator account, and there's a business account. The reason why we recommend, if you're a brand or a small business owner, or even a creator that sells things, to switch your account to a business account is because each one of those types of accounts has different rules, access, and insights. But on the business account, you can really see and get into that real deep nitty gritty of what works best for your business on social media. Also, be open to experimenting with your content types. Like we just talked about, feel free to experiment with carousels and reels and different stories and different types of static posts. Maybe it's a flat lay one day, maybe it's a stock photo, and maybe it's like something graphic. But experiment with those content types as you're really trying to get this focus honed down. So that way, moving forward what your audience wants to see. It's also really important to track your analytics so that you can understand what types of content are most successful. And Plann actually helps you do that for the lifetime, the entire existence of your account. We go through and we look at your top performing posts over the entire existence of your account being there, which is something Instagram doesn't even do. So that's really helpful when you understand what types of content historically your audience has enjoyed. Plann also helps you post at your best times to post. So you'll see a lot of articles about, these are the best times to post on Instagram in 2022. And not to say that those aren't valuable, but it's really important to understand your individual best times to post on Instagram. So that way, that you're getting you're increasing your odds of getting your content in front of the right eyeballs, which is your audience. Also, experiment with what types of experiences that you're sharing. Showcase behind the scenes, offer tutorials and like step-by-step process videos. Encourage a guest takeover, invite a strategic or a complimentary creator or influencer to take your Instagram over for a day. That way you both get to leverage one another's audience members. It's organic growth, and it's a really cheap way for you to boost that engagement and really pick up the attention of the algorithm. Also making sure that you have relevant hashtags that are specific to your niche and the content being shared. So that's something that a lot of folks forget, is they will typically focus on using the same hashtags because that's what's in their niche or in their industry. But making sure that your hashtags are also catered to what is being discussed, topically in that piece of content. As I just talked about guest takeovers, it's really important that you focus on building more strategic brand partnerships and being able to tag those brands that are complementary to yours, as well as different influencers. So like if you have if you're doing a photography shoot of your product and you have a product from another taggable brand present, tag them. They might actually use it as their own user-generated content and boost that engagement. The algorithm's going to see that you're building strategic relationships across Instagram, and it'll, help you reach those higher engagement rates that you're looking for. It's also very important that you focus on creating shareable and valuable content. And we're going to go through some examples of those here shortly. But making sure that it's something that, folks want to share to their story. They want their audience to see this incredible piece of content that you've worked so hard to produce. So make sure that, your hooks are in place, that the content is valuable and educational or provides some sort of relief or joy, and that it is relatable to your audience, so that way they know that it will also relate to those that follow them. And then obviously Instagram is always releasing new tools and features. Leveraging those from time to time is a really great way to signify to the algorithm that you are active on Instagram, to the extent that you know what's changing and to take advantage of these tools. That's typically how Instagram introduces those tools, is, they prioritize the users that are using them and showcase their content more rapidly. So those are just 10 easy ways that you can start working on that. And don't be alarmed, this slide's not going away. We'll be sending out a replay for you following the webinar, as well as hosting this where you can access it at any time. So just take notes, but this will be available after. So now that we've kind of talked about all of that and all of those different factors that can help you really gravitate the algorithm's attention your way, let's talk about a few post examples and features that you can easily tap into right now, today, without a lot of, of a learning curve. So the little miss trend, right? If you miss this trend, I feel sorry for you, honestly, because it was one of the best trends that I've seen pop up in the last few years. It has a nostalgia element, so it resonates to a ton of users. It was easy to relate to audiences and to, recreate and to, morph into your own niche as well. It was something that was fun and easily shareable. Like I know for a fact, I saw Little Miss all over, my feed, as well as my stories, as well as like the brands that I love to follow. And it even showed up in Reels. So this was a really great trend. They got users to start conversations, to claim the little miss that they are. So, I mean, we've all been here, the little miss that checks her phone 10 times after posting. I'm that little miss for sure. So, having something that relates to individual users is a really great way to keep that conversation going and to really, drive that algorithm to pick up your content. Another one is, by sharing relatable reels. Reels it's the fastest growing tool on Instagram. And it's probably the easiest way today to connect to audience members all around the globe, which, will boost that opportunity to gain new customers. You can even post a photo as a reel. Just post the photo, add some, some catchy music or a trending audio clip, or find a GIF or a video that you can make yours. So this is a video of a dog jumping off of like a bridge into the water. And we made it very niche specific to our audience by saying, dropping like an Instagram update. It's really high, it's really fast, and it's like a big splash all at once. And so that really resonated with a bunch of folks, as you can see there in those results. But what's really great about this is that it plays on humor by poking fun at something that's timely. So we posted this right after a really big Instagram update. So it, gives users an element and your audience an element of like casualty, like casual vibes that are, joy-filled, lighthearted, and explanatory to something that multiple people are going through. So like I said, it's something that your audience understands really well. And then it also speaks to the pain points that, everyone is going through when these types of things happen. So finding, something as simple as just a GIF on the internet or on Giphy and turning it into a reel, slapping some text on it that says something that's relevant is a really great way to get users engaged and to grab the attention of that algorithm. I also wanted to walk through a few of the newer features or the more prioritized features on Instagram right now. So one of those is the dual camera feature. And so this is really awesome for showcasing tutorials type content or educational content. So as you can see, I'm just like posted up in the corner there, waving at you guys, and I'm showing what I'm working on, which just so happened to have been this presentation. But it's really great to be able to allow your users to see your reaction to the process, see that joy in your face, or to be able to walk them step by step through what it is that you're working on. And it also provides a full circle experience for your audience so that they're not guessing or like feeling like they're just watching the other side of the screen. They're actually watching you do this action and provide this experience. This is also one of those newer features, like one of the newest features, and the algorithm, like I mentioned earlier, prioritizes its use. So be sure to take advantage of those tools and look into them and see how you can optimize them for your brand. Also, try a green screen. So these are great for sharing big announcements and updates. It's awesome for sharing niche or industry news. It's also, again, another easy way to share a step-by-step process, as well as showcasing what it is that you're working on. So I've basically just put a green screen on behind myself in that video, and then I just uploaded a piece of content, and that can be a photo or a video. But you can upload that and kind of walk your users, step by step or section by section through something. And then the last feature that I wanted to talk about is remixing other people's content. So that's where you see like what's on the screen right now. I have taken this like sunsetty reel and I've like posted myself right next to it as I'm like watching it and engaging with it. And so what this is great for is that it's easy. It's an easy way for you to interact with other brands and your followers. So if another brand posts about you or posts a reel that includes your business or includes your name or tag of yours, you can easily side by side put your actual reaction or like a thank you video or something like that. It's also great to showcase side-by-side comparisons and reactions and reviews that, boil down to showcasing this is a better product, or our services are better than this one, or, come give us a shot if this isn't your vibe. So it's a really great way for you to showcase that kind of, community. And it's also great to showcase testimonials, or if somebody leaves a nice review for you. You can also remix other people's content. It's a really great way to take advantage of user-generated content, which is just other pieces of content that mention you that someone else posted. And this really does help you build a stronger relationship with your community. So I encourage you to give those three a shot and focus on creating something that's fun and relatable. But these are all really easy, quick grab ways for you to really get the algorithm's attention and boost your engagement. But before we really jump into a live demonstration of how Plann helps, I want to run through a few things. So Plann really does help you get, kind of take advantage and take control over how the algorithm reacts to your content, because we provide done for you content. So we mean that like holistically. You have photos, you've got captions, hashtags, optimized times, analytics, media collections, all sorts of things. So yeah, results in analytics, tracking those best times, keeping a bird's eye view on all of your content with our marketing calendar and our in the whole way that Plann is set up. It's really great so that you can prioritize and keep an eye on everything that's happening with your digital marketing efforts. We also give you the ability to create a custom strategy for your brand and change the color so that it speaks more like your brand. We are constantly on top of what's trending and different social media changes and updates. We've just introduced our new home, which I'm so excited to show you here in just a minute. And that is literally, it's revolutionary for Plann because it gives you a really optimized bird's eye view over how to get inspired and create your next post. We also have hundreds of industry professional researched hashtag sets, not just one hashtag or two. Like all of these hashtag sets have 20 or more hashtags that are optimized across a whole plethora of industries and topics. We also provide auto posting for your posts and your reels, as well as other platforms, which is incredible. And then just like what you're on today, we provide free trainings, tools, and resources that help you grow your small business, both organically and digitally. So, and there's more than even that. So this is just a short list of, why we here at Plann work so hard to provide these things for you, and to make sure that you're aware that all of this is just sitting here for you in one site. So now let's run through a live demonstration of Plann on scheduling and getting started with focusing on that consistency and that frequency to get that algorithm to pay attention. So we're going to take a look at home, like I just mentioned, and how it streamlines your work. We're also going to explore how you can schedule your posts and your reels to auto post. I'm going to show you a few things about adding top hashtags using our hashtag suggestions, and then also where you can build a media collection so that all of your posts and media and graphics and videos are all hosted in the same place that you want to post and schedule from. So give me just a moment. I'm going to pop over to Plann so that I can show you guys all of that. But how's it going so far? Everybody having a good time? Any questions, big major questions? I know we're running through a whole lot, but I just want to make sure that we have plenty of time for that Q&A in the end. So, all right. So welcome to the new home for Plann. So this is a little bit different than the create page that you're probably used to. Granted, you can still take advantage of that original create page. But what we really wanted to provide you with was a daily view. So this is essentially what a pretty high frequency day would look like, scheduled out. So you've got your Instagram posts. We've got a carousel scheduled there. You've got a reel. We've got a couple of Facebook posts. LinkedIn, TikTok, and a few different pins. But what's really great about this is that we can see all of that on one page. So that's going to be really incredible as you're focusing on creating that consistency and growing and getting that algorithm's attention. But a few things that I want to call out about home really quickly. So now you can access all of your individual profiles right up here at the top, and you'll see how that little pop-up says create. You can immediately just pop back over to our original create screen by pushing this, any one of these platforms. So that's incredibly helpful, just to kind of have all of those readily available, so you don't have to kind of swap and navigate around the screen. They're just right there, easily accessible. Another really great thing that I want to call out is these tools, this tools section over here. So primarily I want to focus on this inspiration section. So when you get to the inspiration section, you'll see that this opens up into basically just a library of all of these different things that can inspire your next post. So at the top, you've got content inspiration, you've got different content prompts that really focus on strategy and building out, a sequence of posts. Social starters and captions where you can search the purpose of your post and what you're trying to write and get across, as well as, the platforms that we do have social starters available on. And then our favorite thing about this inspiration page is that we do keep up with trending audio every single week, as most of you follow our, our trending audios of the week blog. But we do track those across, as you can see, TikTok and Instagram. Now, the downfall is like we can't clip these into a video or anything of that sort. But what's great is that when you click into this, it will open up directly to the actual Instagram page. So that's incredibly helpful. I'm also so sorry if anybody hears my dog barking in the back, but most of us pet parents have been through that. So this is just a really awesome tool to have readily accessible for you, so that you can access what's trending, have your captions ready to go for you, strategy prompts, as well as content inspiration. And so that's really what I wanted to showcase here. And then you also can access your media collection. So, I've got this, Reels and TikToks. We've also got all of our webinars, hashtags launch. So you can really build out your media collections in a way that works best to really broadcast your brand. Another really great element of home is, as this, somebody who's working on their social presence, it's hard to kind of keep up with all the tasks that you have to focus on. So we've also added this My To-Do list in the top right corner. So you can click into that and you can add a whole new list of to-do items and tasks. And so these are just kind of generally populated so that you can, have a good guide to start with. And the great thing is that you can check these off, you can move them and prioritize them, which is also really great from just a planning perspective. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is up at the top. So what we've always provided on our content calendar, or our marketing calendar, is a daily post idea, something to inspire your post for the day. And that might be a national holiday, or just something that, we would encourage you to share with your audience to keep up the conversation. And so, this daily post idea for today is National Beach Day. So to show you how you can create a post really quickly using this, let's go ahead and click into National Beach Day. And this is what's so incredible about having this right from this home screen, is that in that quick of a click, I've got access to post something on all of my platforms. And then I can choose all of this royalty-free content so that I can create my next post. And you can even create videos by using this. So, that's really, really helpful just to have readily accessible National Beach Day, and it's already prioritized beachy kind of tropical vibe photos. So let's pick one of those. We'll go with this little sunset vibe. And then the other great elements of this kind of daily prompt is that, we provide a social starter, so a caption that you can optimize and change and, really make your own, or just use as is, as well as, complementary hashtags to go along with it. And then once you kind of selected that and made sure it's all good, all you have to do is click add. and then it's going to prop you over to that create page that you're used to. Let's give it just a second to load. And just like we saw on that page that was an inspiration, we've gone in 2 clicks essentially to a completely created post, including our hashtags, including our photography tags. And so really the only things that we have left to do is add a location tag. I'm in Birmingham, so let's give it a second. So, I'm in Birmingham. I can go in here and I can access all these different types of emojis and add those in. You do have the capability to tag products on Plann now, but we are working on some things around that, but just hang tight. And then we also have, like I mentioned, other hashtags that you can also add in to complement. And then down here, you can just schedule for your best times to post, when your audience is most online, or you can choose a custom time to fill in some space. So I'm going to schedule this for, let's say, tomorrow morning at 8:42 a.m. my time. And then I can also go over here and make sure that it's scheduled to auto post to Instagram. And because, Meta owns both Facebook and Instagram, you can also schedule that to post to Facebook and get 2 posts for 1. And then I'm going to go up here really quick just to set my strategy. And then just click schedule posts. And that's it. So now we've gotten 2 posts in 1 essential function, which is incredible. So now that we've got this over on Facebook, I'm going to go over here and make sure that that's also kind of set and great to go. And then I'll confirm and schedule that post as well. So in that short amount of time, I've gotten 2 posts ready to go. And when you head back to home, you can look and see that those posts for tomorrow are geared up, ready to go with their captions, scheduled to auto post at the times that I've selected. So that's really, really incredible. But I also want to walk you through, because we've just recently released auto posting for Reels. So I also wanted to showcase how you can take advantage of that. So when you click Instagram, it's going to open you back up to that create page, and you'll see posts, stories, and Reels up here at this kind of like just below top left. So I'm going to click Reels. And then I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to leverage my media collections like we showcased earlier from that home screen. So because I've already added in my Reels for this, I've got all of my audio attached and everything is ready to go. So let me just sort that out real quick. All right, so yeah, I've got all of these Reels that I can take advantage of. So let's just use this one. I'm going to click that in. I'm going to add it directly from my media collection. Give it just a second to load. And then, I'll add my my caption, like check out this news. Head to the link in bio. And then, I'm going to be set with that. And then I can click down here and add, a selection of hashtag suggestions. So, let's look up social media. So let's say that we are, social media manager, and then we've got 30 perfectly curated hashtags for us that are not overpopulated and just right to get that engagement. I'm going to add those in. I'm going to choose a strategy really quick. Let's see. Product post is what we'll call this. And then I've got all of this kind of set and ready to go. I can save it as a draft. I can post it immediately, or I can select a custom time. So we're going to add that up for tomorrow as well. We're going to say 8:45 a.m. just to keep it up with the rest of our posts. And then I can also set for my auto post if I want it to auto post for me or send me a post notification just so that I can give it one last look through. And I can also decide if I want to share it to the main grid. So now that I've kind of got all of these parameters set, I now have my reel ready to go. But one of the other great things about this is that you can, as you're going to click schedule reel, let's say that you want to prioritize this on TikTok as well. You can click this little down arrow and hit schedule reel, and then also recreate it for TikTok. So let's give it a second to work its magic. So now our post is created for Instagram. You can see it right there in your preview grid. I'm gonna head back to home. I'm gonna go back to TikTok. I'm gonna look at what is that reel has been recreated. Gonna just double check, make sure everything's great. And then I'm going to schedule, well, actually we can't schedule these for auto post, but we can schedule them to give us that alert like I was mentioning earlier. So, but the great thing about this is like we now have 4 posts in just a few minutes using stuff that we previously uploaded into our media collections, as well as free content that's available. So I'm going to schedule that as well. And now we have multiple posts ready to go for tomorrow. So that's really awesome to be able to have those things set up for you. And then let's also just, work on a quick carousel that, showcases a few more elements of what you can really leverage by using Plann. So I'm going to click into this post so that I can create something really quickly. I'm going to explore this free content tab, and I'm just going to look up marketing ideas as a post. I'm going to select this one, and let's say this one. So I'm going to add these 3 photos, that are going to all be credited and that, makes sense for the idea. Give them just a moment to load up. And then now we've got all those posts set. I'm going to edit them just really quickly to leverage them to, better perform on Instagram. So Instagram is actually starting to prioritize a portrait size. So make sure that you're focusing on that 4:5 aspect ratio. And then now that I've gotten, that resized, I'm going to pop up here. I'm going to click this little light bulb and I'm going to find, a caption. So hands up, this seems, pretty good for marketing ideas. Hands up if you've created a work routine you love. And then I can go in here and then I can share my daily routine, which is, for me, drink coffee, check social, and vibe. And so now I've got my social starter there. I've got this free content that was available for me. I can now go in, I can add my hashtags in a first comment even. So let's do that. We'll head back over to that suggestions like we talked about. And let's look at content marketer, add those in, hit save, and then custom time. I'm going to say 8 in the morning with the rest of them. All right, and then I've got it scheduled to auto post, and then I'm going to schedule that. And just like that, head back to home, and you'll see that we've got all of these incredible pieces scheduled and ready to go to work in our favor. And now, granted, you can take advantage of all your other platforms, as you go through this, but in a very short amount of time, I've gotten multiple posts scheduled and ready to go. So that's a really, really incredible thing to have. So hopefully that really was an exciting kind of display for you. But, ultimately, that's what we're here for, is to provide all of these very many different done for you ways for you to really optimize and grow your small business and keep up that consistency so that the Instagram algorithm becomes just something that is natural to you and that you've totally mastered. So I'm going to open it up to that Q&A. I know I ran over a little bit, but I get so excited about, helping small business owners. So feel free to go ahead and start popping off in the Q&A. I am here and ready to answer your questions. And let's see what we got. I'm also going to launch just a quick poll. I would like to, know how you feel about things today, how this webinar was. And then, that'll help us, help me personally as well, provide better value to all of you. So I'm just going to throw that up real quick as we go through this Q&A. So what we have here. All right, so with the locations being important now, is it better to do the location of your city or your actual business address? So this is actually a really great question. So it's either or, honestly, they're both really beneficial. The way that I look at utilizing the location tag is, where will my post show up in that location tag. So if I'm in a city and I'm trying to promote an event that I want people to come to at my business, I might prioritize posting that around in that location, in that city. So that way more users get the opportunity around me locally and regionally to see that. Now, if it's something that is going on inside of your event, like maybe it's a sale, or maybe it's a new product or a new feature that you're doing, or a partnership, posting your actual business location is great, because that means when a user sees it, they know that's where I need to go. But when you post around that city location, it gives you a larger audience to take advantage of and hone them into your business, versus just posting your business location and hoping folks come. Let's see. What is the difference between your best time to post and when your audience is most online? Is the time most of our audience is online not the best time to post? So that's a really awesome question, and a really weird kind of weird, like crazy thing about Instagram is, so your audience might be most online at one specific time throughout the day, and Instagram's insights do provide you with that ability to kind of get an understanding of that. The way that best times work is, it's the best time for your already created audience to actually receive that post in their in the times that they're most online. So typically they're two different times of day, but your best time to post, optimize that timing to actually meet your audience when they are most online. So that's the kind of difference in between those two things. And that will actually help you with your engagement, just by making sure that your post is teed up in Instagram long enough for the algorithm to understand what it is and showcase it to the right amount of users and to the right audience of users. Let's see. Do you have any others? Is Instagram still worth it for small businesses, or is it all about TikTok now? Oh my gosh, if we've heard this question, I would literally be a billionaire at this point. But yes, 150 million%, leveraging Instagram to grow your small business is still like a massive priority if you're focusing on social media, which, as all of you here, you're all here, so you all are. So making sure that you use Instagram, because there's a massive audience on Instagram. It's been around for over a decade at this point. And so we're all very used to Instagram, regardless of, new social platforms coming up. TikTok is still an incredible platform and tool. We do recommend that you, start making your moves to TikTok slowly, or, take that deep dive and try to work that into your strategy. But don't get rid of Instagram. Take advantage of those reels, because you still have the opportunity to reach millions of audience members, on Instagram, and with all the different types of content that are available on Instagram. Because, I'm more of a reels person, but my partner is more of a stories watcher. And then I have friends that just only scroll the feed. So you get variety with Instagram to showcase your content. So when you click into a hashtag, it's not just something that you add to your post. When you click into the hashtag, you can even follow those hashtags in your feed. But when you click into them, you'll see this entire library of, hundreds, thousands, sometimes millions of other people's content that has been posted with that hashtag. So it's like a micro community to focus in to prioritize your content to. So if I'm a marketing coach, I might use like hashtag Instagram marketing coach, jump into that hashtag, engage with some of those other content pieces, just so that I can hopefully, showcase to the algorithm, like this is a hashtag and a community and an audience that I'm really trying to be active with. So hashtags are a really awesome tool. They're not going to make or break your post most of the time, but it's really great to leverage them across all of your platforms, because there's so much other content, there's inspiration, there's other users and new audience members that you can take that you can get to know. I'm going to answer a few more questions. Do we need to post every day, or is it more about consistency once we start? So if I start 2 times a week consistently, will that be enough? So I don't want to say yes and I don't want to say no. It really depends on what your goals are. So if your goal is to, engage with tons of new audience members, grow your business, grow your brand awareness, make more sales, get a better customer base, then yeah, you're probably going to want to ramp up that consistency and that frequency of your posting, just so that you have more opportunities and you're producing valuable content that brings that opportunity to you. Now, if you're just getting started, take it slow, get used to it, play around on Plann, get acclimated to adding in your media and working on all of these things. And then, work on the different features and tools that are on Instagram as well. But definitely, work yourself up to a comfortable pace that, is, complementary of what your goals are. Let me see. Sorry, we've got a lot of questions. I love these. Okay, so this is a simple one that I feel like a lot of folks are confused about. What is the best way or place to include hashtags on your post? So the hard knock truth is it doesn't really matter as long as they're there. Here at Plann, we primarily put them in our first comment. That's a feature that we provide as you're creating so that you can just leverage them in. It doesn't kind of dirty up your caption, but it's really your own preference. It doesn't really move your content left or right or up or down or rank it any differently. As long as those hashtags are relevant, it's going to show up in those micro communities. So if you prefer to keep your caption section very clean and aesthetically pleasing, throw it in the first comment. If you don't care about that, or if you've seen that hashtags in your captions has been working, just keep it up. It's not really a crazy thing. And then I'm going to answer 2 more questions. Okay, so I'm having to pick very carefully. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this one. It's another one of those simpler ones. And I touched on it a little bit during the webinar, but which aspect ratio is better, 9:16 or 4:5? So this is a really good question. And the reason why I say that is because both. So you really do need to focus on creating content in both of those aspect ratios. So the 4:5 aspect ratio, we are seeing that Instagram is slowly kind of moving all of our grids, like our profile grids, into a 4:5 display versus the square that we've notoriously had since the beginning. 9:16 is the typical aspect ratio for your stories as well as for reels. And if you want those to perform at their best possible optimization, then yeah, using that 9:16 for your story shares and for your reels is really going to help you grab that attention from the Instagram. Will this training be available? Yes, this training is going to be sent out as a replay, and it will also be hosted on YouTube. So you can access it and see my face whenever you want, which is awesome. Okay. Oh, gosh, I have so many good questions. Okay, so how... Are there any benefits to posting on the grid twice a day? Again, yes and no. There are pros and cons. It depends on your audience. So you don't want to overwhelm your audience with content because that also can eliminate your odds of like ranking within the algorithm. Because if your audience, which that's another great thing about Plann, is it shows you when your audience is most online as well as your best times to post, like we've talked about. But the thing about that is typically most profiles only have one best time of day to post. So you can try and like play around with some things. I've done that before when the algorithm was much younger and different. Where I've posted in the day and then posted something in the evening, especially like here at Plann with a global audience. Sometimes we post, in different time zones. But give it a shot, see if that's what your audience wants. But again, be mindful that all of these content pieces that you're sharing need to be very valuable or relatable. So that way, even if you are posting at a higher frequency and, kind of bombarding your feed with extra posts, that your audience is actually finding value in each of those. So I know that I didn't get to everyone's questions, and I'm really sorry. But you can always reach out to us through our DMs, through our email. We have a contact page, support page. So all of these questions, this invitation to this webinar was sent out from Tyler@plannthat.com, so you can email me. But we are all here to help you and provide you with the tools that you need. And that's really the great thing about having a community like y'all, and as well as having a tool that's so easy to celebrate. But there are a couple of other things that I just wanted to run through very quickly, just to kind of showcase a couple of other opportunities at Plann before we log off. And so we did our Q&A. So thank you. We just want to say thank you again for being here. Make sure that you check your inbox for this replay and mark your calendars. Check our website. We've got lots of other webinars and trainings and resources. So bookmark our website, take a peek and see if there's something else that you need help with. Also, if you thought today was awesome, if you think Plann is awesome, share that with a friend. Tell another small business owner that can benefit from, arguably the best social scheduler on the planet. And also by doing this, you can actually earn some money. We know running a small business is not cheap. So every little bit helps. And we do provide that for you so that you can earn a little bit every time you refer Plann. You can use that URL right there on the screen. But a little bit more about our Plannbassador program. It's just what I said. If you know someone that can use this, if you know a content manager, a small business owner, a creator, anybody who's active on social media and always stressed out about staying on top of things, make sure that they know about Plann, and do that by joining our Plannbassador program, so that way you can earn that money. All you have to do is just sign up right there. We'll give you a success kit. We'll walk you through how all of that works. And then if you're already a Plannbassador, make sure that you're talking about it. If you're coming back to join us at these webinars and you're still using Plann, make sure that you're sharing your individual link so that you can boost your earnings every time that you talk about Plann. We're in it to help y'all however we can, simply because y'all have helped us grow to this point. So I just want to thank y'all one last time, and really grateful to have you all here. We've got more things coming up soon, so just stay tuned, and again, check that inbox so that way you know that you can watch this replay and check it out and see my face again. But thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Have a great lunch, wherever you're at. And we'll see you at the next one, folks. Y'all have a great day.